It's pretty crazy if you think about the home buying process. You look at maybe 10 to 20 houses if you get lucky, and you end up picking one house. Out of the tens and thousands of houses out there, how did you know you made the right choice? Well, I have seen tens of thousands of houses. I have helped hundreds of people, thousands of people on YouTube, and personally have purchased many properties. And I can show you what are some houses that immediately I try to avoid, or at minimum, it just brings a big alert on my head. The first type of house I try to avoid are anything where the owner is an LLC or company. Let me explain. There could be different types. There can be those companies like Open Door that do just quick flips that literally they don't even do anything to the house. They just buy it for, let's say, $340, put it on the market for $400,000 a month later, and just hold until somebody buys it for $380, $390, make a quick profit, move on. Really glorified wholesalers. In addition to this, you got to look out for the lipstick on a pig jobs, where somebody buys it and they do the bare minimum, bare like white paint, whitewash the cabinets, maybe clean up the front yard and backyard, and they put that on the market and say that's a flip. These are the ones you especially have to be careful, because these guys are notorious for just hiding things. Like, there's mold here, let's just paint over it. It's the next person's problem. They're kicking the can, or in this case, it's a can that's about to explode full of radiation down to the next person to worry about. These LLCs could also include the house that's been rented for a long time that they're not trying to get rid of. A lot of times renters don't really take care of their house. I mean, why should they? It's not their house. So that deferred maintenance gets left to the landlord, and what you'll find is many landlords don't bother, let's say between leases, changing the filters are to changing people out. They only deal with the issues once it's a big problem, right? They don't do a lot of maintenance as homeowners do. And yes, rarely will you find an LLC with like that's remodeled the property and actually did an amazing job at it. These are people, maybe hopefully they're companies that only do a few a year, right? They're not doing it for huge gains. They're doing it because they enjoy what they're doing. And it's hard to find, you have to feel a situation when it feels like a situation like that. But as usual, I did a real life search just to kind of get an idea, and I already found a few. For example, you look at this house, well priced, good area. They map things out, looks pretty clean, looks in good shape. We looked at the tax record, and it's owned by an LLC. So once again, if it's not an avoidance situation, it's a complete treat with care and caution. So then what you want to do is you want to look up the history. Has this house tried to sell before? It looks like here they tried to sell it in 2013 for $412, and after 6 months it didn't work out, and all they did is they reduced it $12,000 and it's back on the market again. It looks like they bought it in 2022, so they don't have a long time with this. Why are they selling it after a year or two? And we can actually look at the condition of when they originally bought the house in 2022 to see what condition it was in. And we see that actually wasn't in bad condition to begin with. It looks like the flooring of the kitchen has been left the same. Looks like they did change that to like a cheap laminate, but that flooring in the kitchen looks about the same. The cabinets, actually, don't be fooled by the whitewash of it. They're the same exact cabinets. They just painted them white, right? So when they do cheap stuff like that, that catches my attention. Like, whoa, what's going on here? What are you trying to hide? Now, this could be a totally normal situation where they're just like, yeah, you know, it just didn't work out. But the alarms need to be sounded. You know what I mean? The things you need to be cautious. I just realized it was wonky. It was like to the side. So, but at least you got a little bit of a zoom in. So we're going to do a quick look as well. And I can see one of those companies already, Open Door. This house was originally purchased in 2010 for $80,000. So it's usually people with a ton of equity that just sell it to Open Door because they don't really care if they make another $20,000, $30,000. They're like, it's not our problem. Don't do it. Just sell it with, even if you hate agents, find one of those flat fee agents, sell it with them if you really don't want to work with an agent. Like, just try to just test the market out, get as much money as possible. Trust me, you'll make more money. There's a reason why this company just got a mega fine from the FTC. So anywho, this is currently for sale for $371,000. So then let's look at the tax records. What did they buy it for? Let's see. Looks like they bought it in February, so 2 months ago, for $322, and they're trying to sell it for $371. And if you look at the photos, we can see it's like the same shape. It's like there's no remodel or anything done. So this is just like they're trying to squeeze $50K from it and wholesale it to you. And the reason is that they have the ability to hold on to it for a long time, and they know eventually someone will buy it. Now, looking at the situation, I would say, well, would you pay 370 for this house? No, you wouldn't, because they literally just bought it for 320 for the same condition. Why would you? So you see what I'm saying? You start kind of the gears start turning, right? I mean, if you can avoid these houses altogether, great. But you're in a market where if you don't have many options, you're gonna have to deal with what you got. I totally get it, but try to avoid at least the LLCs for sure. Second type of house that I usually try to avoid are the 2 major item houses, 2+ major item houses. What does that mean? Well, when I'm looking at an inspection report or just walking through a house, I separate these like repairs as I'm looking through a house as either a major item or a minor item. Me personally, what I consider a major item is any repair that will cost me not only thousands of dollars, but my time and energy. You know what I'm talking about? When something breaks down and you can't even work, your family's left like in a lurch, like it's just leaving you in a bad spot. Your AC breaks down. The water heater is not something that's like massively expensive, but that takes a lot of time and energy. If there's a giant leak in your garage and it's rotting your freaking drywall, like that's the kind of stuff that I look at as a major item repair. So when I'm locking a house and I see the AC's in really rusty condition, I'm like, okay, there's a major item. We can do an inspection on it. And even if the inspection says it's okay, odds are it'll probably need to be replaced in the next 5 years. And that lands on me as the home buyer. So, okay, it is what it is. But as I continue walking, oh gosh, there's like some water staining around the water heater. What happened here? The roof is in really bad shape. Foundation has a massive crack on the side. Something like that. Then the concerns start to tally up. Because here's the thing. When you're buying a house, you should expect at least a major repair, at least 5 to 10 minor repairs. Like that's just what it is. Like even brand new houses have stuff that need to get done. But once it's in the 2+, even 3+ major category, I am like really questioning if I should buy that place. Am I really going to invest my time and energy into something? Because here's the thing, they work like threads. You pull and they turn into a more bigger issue. That small repair could end up leading to the electrical panel, to the freaking piping throughout the house. Electrical panel, that's another major one. Like that's the things that really start stacking up that you need to be really concerned about. You have to be careful here because a lot of people like to classify like major renovations as a major item. It's certainly something to think about, but like let's say you're walking through an older house and it's in great shape, but all the windows are really old and need to get replaced as something that's a little more energy efficient. Yes, that's a major item, but odds are you could probably live in those windows just fine. It just won't be as energy as efficient, so you're upgrading it. When it's an upgrade, I really don't classify it as a major item because you usually can't ask for upgrades during the inspection. If you want to be very particular about that, maybe there's like a 3 upgrade rule where if 3 things need to be upgraded, then pass on it. So for example, if the windows need to be upgraded, the paint needs to be upgraded, and that's it, then buy it. But if it's that and the flooring as well and this and the other, then you can move on. You can kind of make your own criteria, and please use this and modify it to what's more comfortable with you. You could have been raised by a construction mommy or daddy that taught you how to fix your own house, and you're like, yeah, I don't care what's wrong with this house. I'm buying it, I'm gonna fix it. Listen, my dad, I grew up in construction, but I hated it. Like my dad, anytime I got in trouble at school, he thought in his warped mind it was cool to say, hey, well, you're gonna go work with this crew of mine, not even his crew. You're gonna work with some random crew for a week, like a 12, 13-year-old. Go be a man. And all it did is made me hate labor. And now I don't want to do any repairs to my house. I always tell Mercy, please don't make me hang portraits. I'm just a little boy that got sent to work when he was 12, 13 years old when he got in trouble. Summer breaks, spring breaks, I hated it. Anyways, this is turning into a therapy session. Let's get back. The third type of house I like to avoid is a little tricky to explain, but let's just call it houses with a lot of deferred maintenance. This is something that you just pick up. I've walked into houses that look really nice. The photos, the front's really nice. It looks fresh, clean, painted. It looks lived in. It looks like it's just everything's right about it. But then I'll walk to the filter and I notice it's a new filter, but the grates are just black and filled with lint. Interesting. I'll go and yeah, the major areas are pretty clean, but you guys would think I'm crazy, but I like notice some certain parts are missing. Notice there's like a big thick layer of filth in like some baseboards. I noticed that there was a stain or like some kind of patch that they did in the patio roof, and it looks like it was sealed and repaired, but they didn't bother painting it after they were done. They just left it patched. So stuff like that it gives me an insight on who was the owner. And I'm hypercritical because I feel like I'm sometimes not a great homeowner. Like sometimes I'm like, I defer maintenance my stuff, right? And I sometimes I'll worry about that tomorrow, and that issue turns into another big issue. And now my wife's like, I told you, and I'm just okay, I'm sorry, right? Don't make me work anymore. Anyways, I've seen this happen where there's someone who owns a house and doesn't take care of their home, has a house usually really messy, not well managed, not taken care of, no AC like repair or a usual like maintenance, and then for the home sale they decide to clean it up and become a different version of themselves. And now because that AC wasn't really maintained, it was just got like a little spiffy cleaning, you get stuck with the repair. Well, the inspection said it was fine. You walk through a house and you start seeing roof shingles crack, stains on ceiling, yellow grass, specific things like that. Like that's what just catches your eye. And if anything, if you're like too picky, I met people that are out there that are like, you think I'm crazy? I've met some people that are like, I don't like the vibes of this house, I'm gonna pass. All right, and as a bonus item, you need to be nosy when you're looking through a house. Like, just that like my mom or my mother-in-law, that whenever there's something going on in the kitchen, they like peek their eyes through that shutters, like, hey, what's going on? You need to be that. You need to be a chismoso is what we call in my culture, or chismosa. You need to be like looking through, not like digging through stuff, like not going to personal property, but you need to be just extra aware. So we were in the garage in the house that my client was looking at, and we were in the garage. I already said that. And then I noticed in the shelves, they had like these wired mesh shelves, and in the bottom there was like a bag that was like had like a little something piece, like it looks like someone put like a wood board or something over it to cover it. And I'm like, that's weird, why would they just put a board over like to cover a bag there? I go and I look, and it's bed bug poison. And if I wasn't a chismoso, I wouldn't have known that. Why would they? I mean, I'm sure they would have disclosed it. I'm hoping they're good people, or at least legally obliged, following people, people that follow the law. But it is just completely wrote the house off. No, and it was like, I don't even know if it was like actually a contender or not, but my client didn't want to deal with that. So you need to be extra aware. Just be a little extra nosy. Does this mean going and talk to the neighbors? Yeah, of course, go talk to the neighbors. Or if you see people are looking and poking their head out when they're looking, hey, what's going on? What do you tell me about the neighborhood or something? Just be that nosy person. And you definitely be unnosy once you're moved in, if you want to be more reserved, but just go ahead. It's okay. I give you permission to be a gossip and to be nosy. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Honestly, I have a lot of things to plug, but I don't remember right now what I need to plug. So if you can just support me by just thinking of something great today and going and spend time with your kids or spend time with your friend and let them know Javi sent you. That's all you can do. Thank you. See you guys.